Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is a video presentation on my final year project CSP 650. My name is Siti Nur Adila binti Asno from class A4 CS2306B. And my project title will be Sentiment Analysis on Malaysian Citizens' Emotion During COVID-19 Outbreak in Twitter. My supervisor is TS Dr. Nahratul Akmal binti Ahmad. So social media is in trend for every generation, such as Facebook and Twitter, to express their opinion regarding any topic. This project can help the Health Association to manage the mental health issues by detecting the Malaysian social media's users' emotion and performing the sentiment analysis. The Movement Control Order, or MCO in Malaysia, has had a lot of impact on citizens from various aspects, especially mental health. However, the researchers are having difficulty analysing the existence of mental health issues among Malaysia, as the perspective of some Malaysia who take these issues lightly. Besides, the current focus on the transmissions of COVID-19 infection has distracted the public attention on mental health consequences that in turn will transform into a long-term health problem. So the objective of this project are firstly to develop a web-based system that is able to analyze emotional status among Malaysian citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic using a machine learning technique. The second objective is to characterize emotional responses gathered from the Twitter text with the emotion models, and the third objective is to evaluate the web-based system. Next, the scope of this project is first, dataset will be collected from Twitter. The target user is teenager within the age of 13 to 19 years old and adult at the age of 20 to 40 years old who is Twitter users. Respondents are among Malaysians, including men and women. Now, we look at the project's significance. The significance of this project is firstly to help analyze the emotional state of Malaysian citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic period. It is also to assist in decision making to the health department by detecting the health problems among Malaysians. Okay, so what is emotion? Emotion is defined by Oxford Dictionary as a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. There are 6 basic emotions that are commonly experienced in all human society, such as happiness, sad, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. Emotion detection is a subset of sentiment analysis that tackle emotion extraction and analysis. Then what about emotion models? Emotional models are the basis of emotion-related behavior in which we describe the way emotions are expressed. To perform some tasks relating to emotion detection, it is important to identify the emotion model to be used. So emotion models are divided into two, which is discrete emotion models and dimensional emotion models. Now first, let's look at the discrete emotion models. Discrete emotion models include placing emotion in various groups or division. First, let's look at the first discrete emotion model, which is the Paul Ekman models. This model distinguishes emotions consisting of 6 specific categories, which is happiness, sad, fear, anger, disgust, and surprise. These 6 basic emotions derive from different neural systems. Next, the Robert Plutchik's models. These models postulate that there exist a few more main emotions. Robert describes emotion occur in opposite pairs, and by variations will create a dynamic emotions. He finds the 8 basic emotion, that is trust and anticipation, in addition to the 6 basic emotion from Paul Ekman models. According to Plutchik, each emotion exists at different degrees of intensities. The third models is Orthony, Clore, and Collins, or OCC models. This model disagree with the basic emotion concept proposed by the Ekman and Plutchik. They, however, believe that emotion emerge as a result of how person view a situation. Emotion are differed according to their degrees of intensities. In this model, emotion is divided into 22, which adding 16 emotion from the 6 emotion proposed by Ekman, which in turn spending much broader representation of emotion. Now, let's jump into the dimensional emotion models. Dimensional emotion models are divided into two, which is Russell's complex models and Plutchik's wheels of emotion. Now, let's look at the first models, which is Russell's complex models. These models provide a two-dimensional circular model called affect circumplex. These circumplex models of affect indicates that emotions are not separate but related. Next, we look at the Plutchik's wheels of emotion. The Plutchik wheels of emotion is a two-dimensional wheel of emotions displaying the vertical axis of valence and the horizontal axis of arousals. As you can see from the wheel in the figure below, reveals that how correlated emotions are on the wheel due to their positions. What is sentiment analysis? Sentiment analysis is a statistical examination of the thoughts, views, or even emotions of an entity using unstructured text mining from the internet. Sentiments is defined in Cambridge Dictionary as a thought, an opinion, or an idea based on a feeling about a situation or a way of thinking about something. Sentiment analysis has become a common topic in various society, not only on computer science society, but in management science and social science as well. Let's look at the level of analysis for sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis has three levels of analysis, which are document level, sentence level, and aspect levels. Now, let's look at the type of sentiment analysis. There are four types of sentiment analysis, which are fine-grained sentiment analysis, emotion detection, aspect-based sentiment analysis, and multilingual sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis also being applied in a real world, which is in a business field, medical field, and a political field. Now, let's move on to sentiment analysis approach. Sentiment analysis approach is divided into two, which are rule-based approach and machine learning approach. Rule-based approach also can be divided further into two techniques, which are dictionary-based technique and corpus-based technique. Machine learning approach is divided into two categories, which are supervised and unsupervised. Supervised consists of probabilistic classifier, rule-based classifier, linear classifier, and decision tree classifier. While unsupervised further divided into two clustering, which are hierarchical clustering and partitioning clustering. Now we look at the comparison of features in existing system. There are three existing systems overall to be compared. The first system is a text mining application of emotion classification of Twitter's users using knife-based method. The second system is a Twitter sentiment analysis during COVID-19 outbreak, and the third system is the actionable pattern discovery for tweets emotions. As we can see, the data source for the three systems are the same, which is Twitter, and the domain is global for the three systems. But the technique applied in the three systems are different. The first system are using a machine learning approach, which is a knife-based algorithms. The second system are using the rule-based approach, which is a lexicon. And the third systems are using hybrid approach, which is the combination of machine learning approach and the rule-based approach, which are NRC emotion lexicon and a support vector machine or SVM algorithms. Each of the systems are using a different approach. The emotion model in the first system is unidentified, but the second and the third system are applying the same emotion models, which is Plutchik's models. Okay, for the specific methodology, this project will be using a machine learning lifecycle or MLLC. There are 7 phases in total in this lifecycle, which are gathering data, data preparation, data wrangling, analysis, train model, test models, and lastly, deployment. Gathering data phase is when the data are being collected and extracted by using a combination of two Python modules, which is SNS Scrap and TWP. In data preparation, we started to implement MySQL as a database storage. The training datasets will be obtained from internet, and the dataset will contain both Bahasa Melayu and English. During data wrangling, the data are having a cleaning method by using a various filtering technique to clean the data. In analysis phase, the selection of analytics technique is done where the sentiment classifier used to build the model is a support vector machine or SVM algorithms. This phase aims to create a machine learning models and analyze the data using a various analytical methods. Emotion model to be used is the Paul Ekman models. In the train model phase, the dataset is used to train the model using SVM algorithm in the Python modules, which is the scikit-learn modules. Training of models is important to improve the performance for the better results. After done training, the model is then saved using Pickle for future use. In the test module phase, we started to test the model using dataset provided to check the accuracy of the models. By testing the model, we are able to measure the percentage accuracy of the model according to the project criteria. We are also being able to build the confusion matrix, precision, recall, and the F1 score for the models to check the performance of the model. In the last phase, the model is deployed in the real-world systems, but in this case, to the Health Association. Data visualization is performed in the form of web-based dashboard using Dash, which is the open-source Python framework. Now, move on to the system architecture. The figure shows the system architecture for my project, where the data is firstly obtained by extracting tweets from Twitter. Then the collected tweets are stored inside the database to be accessed later. The tweets gathered from the database are then being pre-processed before feeding the tweets into the sentiment classifier, while in this case I'm using a SVM algorithms. The sentiment classifier or SVM will predict the emotion of each tweets and produce a result of classification of 6 basic emotions as referred to the Paul Ekman models. The result is then stored into the database. The result is then being visualized using Dash framework and displayed on the web application that can later be accessed by the government or medical association. Now let's further discuss on the result of this project. Okay, so this is the user interfaces or the dashboard for this analysis. This dashboard was created using Dash. In this dashboard also will have the different representation of data or information about emotions of Malaysians toward COVID-19 outbreak, which is a pie chart, line chart, and bar charts. The data visualization are created using a Plotly library. Next, let's move on to the first analysis that have been found out after the prediction process. So the figure shows the pie chart of emotions of Malaysian citizens during COVID-19 pandemic. This is the first data visualization for this analysis. So if we take a look at the pie chart, the anger sentiment has the highest percentage with 57.8% with 951 tweets. And then the second highest percentage is a happy sentiment with a percentage of 33.6%, followed by the sadness sentiment with percentage of 4.56%. And then love sentiment have the percentage of 2.68%. And fear sentiment with percentage of 1.09%. And lastly, surprise sentiment with 0.24%. Okay, as the anger sentiment getting the highest percentage among other sentiment, we further analyze the anger sentiment by using this word cloud, so we can see all the overlapping words by the tweets that has been extracted, such as stay, home, lockdown, please, and etc. has shown the reason to the highest percentage of the anger sentiment. Next, the factor that leads to the high percentage of anger sentiments is being predicted based on most of the tweets from this project's extracted datasets. So we found out that the first factor that lead to anger among Malaysians during COVID-19 is the disobedience of certain people with SOP, as many tweets complaining about some people's disobedience with SOP. Some of them even brave enough to post photos of themselves outside the house and provoking anger among Malaysians. So this is an example of the tweets from my project's extracted datasets. So the second factor that the way government administration handles the COVID-19 pandemic. So political issues have becoming one of the issues that lead to anger among citizens since the COVID-19 pandemic has hit Malaysia. It affected the way government handles COVID-19 pandemic, such as in ineffective lockdown and inconsistency in issuing the SOP, that in turn leads to a lot of negative consequences, including in increasing of the COVID-19 cases in Malaysia. So the two figure below shows the example of the tweet mentioning about the government administration. So the third factor is about the non-essential company and factory opening issues during the MCO. So this issue can be related with the second factor because the obligation for the non-essential sector to operate is due to the inconsistency in issuing the SOP by the second factors. So the co-worker are being forced to attend work, and if they do not, they will face a payback cuts. This has led to the dissatisfaction and also anxiety over the rising numbers of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia. So the two figures below also shows the examples of tweet that mention about the non-essential company and factory opening during MCO. Next, if you take a look at the percentage of all sentiment on analysis 1, the happy sentiment is getting the second highest percentage among other sentiments. So why would Malaysians feel happy during COVID-19? And what makes them feel happy? If we take a look at the word cloud, there are overlapping words such as friends, Shopee, stay, home, happy, enjoy, and etc. So from this, we can analyze the reason why Malaysia are happy is based on the overlapping words. For example, Shopee. Instead of stay at home and doing nothing, Malaysians has begun to be interested in shopping online. Since Shopee has started to provide shocking sales, vouchers, and special sales day per month for their customer. For examples, Shopee would have a sales day on 7/7, 8/8, 10/10, and 12/12 of every month. And people have started to share what they bought on Shopee, causing it to go viral on social media. So as we know that shopping may bring indirect therapy to those who are bored at home and don't know what to do. And this analysis may also assist the Health Association in gaining a better understanding of what makes Malaysia happy, and lastly may help in the management of mental health issues during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next, now move on to the second analysis that has also been found out after the prediction process. The figure shows the line chart and the bar chart of emotions of Malaysian citizens based on group of months from 2020 to 2021. So this is the second and the third data visualization for this analysis. If we take a look at the line chart and the bar charts, during the first 3 months of 2020, the anger sentiments have the highest percentage than other sentiments. This might be because due to the tabligh cluster that has triggered a dramatic growth in COVID-19 cases in Malaysia. People still do not take this COVID-19 issue seriously by refusing to practice self-quarantine and refuse to wear a mask. So on October to December of 2020, if we take a look at this duration, if we take a look at October and December 2017, we can see that the anger sentiment on this group of months seems to be the highest among all group of months. It may be due to the Sabah state election issues that happened in September 2020, leading to the rise of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia from October 2020 until December 2020. This is why during this duration, the anger sentiment seems to peak high than other groups of months. Next, let's move on to the system demo. Okay, so this is a system demo for my project, and this is a dashboard that will be displayed for the user. All of the data visualization and analysis of the emotions of Malaysians during COVID-19 outbreak will be displayed in this dashboard and can be easier for the user to analyze and take a look at the information given based on the analysis. So firstly, it will display the interactive line chart. As you can see here, this is the percentage of Malaysian citizens' emotion during COVID-19 based on group of months from 2020 to 2021. And it's basically the same as the bar chart given. So the secondly, it will show you the hoverable bar chart. Okay, it is also hoverable, and it will show you the information about each of the color and the value also. And lastly, it will display the pie chart for the percentage or overall percentage of Malaysian citizens' emotion during COVID-19 from 2020 to 2021. So this is the category of the emotion, and this is a pie chart with the percentage or the value of the percentage. If you hover into the pie chart, it will show the sentiment and also the percentage of the sentiment. So this system is being developed by using a dash library, and it is implemented in a web-based system or in a web-based form. So in conclusion, all three objectives for my project are achieved, as this application can analyze the emotional status among Malaysian citizens during COVID-19 pandemic, which is full of anger due to several factors, but also at happy state due to certain factors as mentioned previously. And this project also is using a machine learning technique. This project can also characterize the emotional responses gathered from Twitter text into 6 basic emotions, which is anger, fear, happy, love, sadness, and surprise, according to Paul Ekman emotion models. And this application is being implemented in web-based system, which satisfy the third objective of these projects. That's all from me. Thank you.